Okay. Well, my lecture today is the type that you listen to over and over and over again because it has many layers of meanings. So I'm going to share with you and think outside the box by presenting a lecture format that is a little bit outside the box. You can clap. Not much is known about the man called William Shakespeare. We know he married a 26-year-old woman named Anne Hathaway at the age of 18. And that they had 3 children, a set of twins, and a daughter. We know he was an actor, a writer, and part owner of a drama company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. His father was an alderman. No, he wasn't a member of my family. The title alderman just means he was a legislator, a local government chairman, or something like that. Shakespeare's 3 most outstanding works are the political thriller Macbeth, the drama King Lear, and the tragicomedy Hamlet. In Hamlet, a demented prince in a revenge assassination murders his uncle, who allegedly murdered his father, the king, and married his mother. In the process, he commits manslaughter, killing his girlfriend's father. The girlfriend runs mad in grief, and on the story went as the bodies pile up. It is a tale of madness, murder, incest, treachery, revenge, and corruption. Now you know where Nollywood gets its inspiration from. Now from Act 2, Scene 2 of Hamlet comes this quote: I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. You see, in the days of Shakespeare, there was no expression called thinking outside the box. They used an expression that spoke about thinking outside the shell. Thinking outside the shell is why Shakespeare wrote, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. What that means is, even if we're limited by our physical environment, our minds are free to explore the whole universe and go boldly where others fear to tread. In essence, if you want to think out of the box, you've got to get out of the box. Your space vehicle is your imagination. I will illustrate our topic today with a parable. And I called my parable the parable of the box. This is the story. There was a young woman who lived in a box. It was a 1-bedroom apartment in a house full of 1-bedroom apartment boxes. These apartment boxes lined either side of a long, dark, and dingy corridor. The corridor was as long as from here to Jos. Now that may be an exaggeration, but the point being made is that there are probably as many as 50 to 70 one-room apartment boxes in that house. In Lagos, we call such houses face me, I face you. Now, if you're familiar with houses of that nature, you will know that the corridor leads straight to the private conferencing facilities at the back of the house. You know what I mean. Now, of course, I'm talking about the toilets. Now, you can't imagine how precious toilet time is in such a house. Over 200 people have to share that toilet. Rush hour in the mornings is worse than being struck in Lagos traffic. And rush hour begins at 5 a.m. or earlier. You learn to wake up before the cock crows when you live in a box. In fact, you wake up while the cock is dreaming and snoring. The rooms vomit people into the long corridor in the mornings. Expectations and fortunes collide on that long, dingy corridor every day. Now, the young lady wasn't born in a box. The circumstances of life thrust her into the box. The parents had suffered economic misfortune, and this is a true story I'm telling you. Some are born in the box, some are thrust into the box, and some put themselves in the box of their homemaking. The young woman resolved to get out of the box. It was a very difficult thing to do because she was determined to get out. It took some time and a lot of courage, but she got out. It took a lot of determination. One day, she went visiting her former neighbors to urge them to get out of the box. You must get out of the box, she urged in earnest. The box kills dreams. But her words seemed to fall on deaf ears. They were simply not interested in what she had to say. Some called her a dreamer. Some scoffed. Time will tell whether you can get out, whether you can survive outside the box. You see, the box had conditioned their thinking. They were content with their lot. One of them said he tried to get out once, but he became a pigeon. Pigeons, you see, always come back to the nesting site. Boxers return to boxes. These people were not interested in getting out of the box, and some were actually angry with this young lady. They said she had come to make fun of them because she got lucky. The young lady was discouraged and turned to leave. As she stood outside, sobbing, a young man about the age of many people in this auditorium this morning accosted her. Tell me, I pray you, how can I get out of the box? She looked at him with tear-filled eyes and spoke between sobs. I'm going to tell you the secret, she said. I applied the secret to get out of the box. The young man was entranced and looked on in earnestness and concentrated innocence. If you want to get out of the box, you must apply the 3 laws of the box. The young man became intrigued at the possibility of getting out of the box. His hope began to rise. What I am about to tell you is known to only a few. I was lucky to learn it from a wise old man who showed me kindness. Tell me, the young man implored, I want to get out of the box. I will tell you the 3 laws that lead you out of the box. But the laws will do you no good unless you understand the box. You need to understand the box. Understand the box? I live there, the young man replied. Yes, but you don't know anything about the box. I thought I did too until I was liberated. Okay, now let me take some water. I'm going to tell you what this lady said about the box, and I want you to pay close attention. Thank you. The box has eyes, invisible cameras. It sees you, records you every day in order to create a history for your life. The box has ears. It hears everything you say. The box has ears. The box hears everything. This young man was puzzled. He was scared. He tried to rewind conversations in his head. He remembered some snippets, but nothing much. His heartbeat began to race. The thoughts of someone watching him and listening to all his words was a bit disconcerting. The box is a big brother, apparently. The young lady continued, once you begin to nurture an ambition, The box seeks to interject your thoughts with fears and doubt. The box seeks to discourage you, makes you see all the problems about a brilliant idea first, because the box is alive to impossibilities. The most common vocabulary in the box is, it's impossible, it cannot be done. It is a strange kind of language because it has been proven untrue over and over again, yet people will keep on speaking it. If you are naive, the box will discourage you using people. You must be careful who you share your thoughts with in the box. Those who live in box houses must not throw thoughts. Now the young man was afraid. He might have been careless in sharing his plans about escaping from the box with the wrong people. There and then, he realized that the best way to express himself in life is to achieve his plans. The box will seek to distract you, the young lady continued. Don't ever lose your focus. As she spoke, something kept ringing in the ears of the young man. The box kills. The box kills. The box kills. The box kills, he uttered. Oh yes, the box kills. The box kills young men and women by belittling their dreams. It scales down their vision. Those who live inside the box suffer from diminished expectations from life. They have an acute sense of poverty, hopelessness, helplessness, and despair. As you know, life inside the box is tough. Because people are living on top of each other, tempers are often frayed. There are so many senseless fights inside the box. But the greatest setback for those who live inside the box is a sense of shame. Shame? You heard me. Shame. You can't bring your friends home because of shame. The rooms are dark and crowded. And even the light bulb is ashamed. That is why the light is so dim inside boxes. Knowledge is scarce. Opportunities are scarce. The box is a tough place, I tell you. The young man knew that. He often felt as if he was being buried alive. Because of the extreme conditions of the box, the lady continued, many give up on their dreams. People resign themselves to the prophecy of the box. The box prophesies. Oh yes. And those prophecies shape our thinking. Those who live inside the box, the boxers, think in a particular way, but those who live outside the box think different. You need to study how out of the box thinkers reason. At this, the young man thought of Steve Jobs of Apple, Walt Disney of the Walt Disney film, Anita Roddick of the Body Shop, George Lucas of the Star Wars franchise, Masaru Ibuka and Akio Morita, the founders of Sony. He thought of Ralph Lauren and his eponymous brand, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Emir of Dubai, who dreamt of building on water in the desert. He thought of Ravan Naval Tata of the Tata Group India, whose company developed the cheapest car in the world. He thought of Pierre Morad Omidia, who founded eBay, the online auction powerhouse. He thought of Mike Lazaridis of Research in Motion, who created the BlackBerry. Joseph Corey and Serena Rees of Agent Provocateur, the lingerie company that sells salacious undergarments that are dangerous to the health of men. And these people focus on human needs and audaciously move in to fulfill fantasies. They look for gaps in the fulfillment of fantasies. They think in fantasies. Wouldn't it be nice if it's a constant thought in their head? Out of the box thinkers concentrate on the fulfillment of fantasies. He made a mental note to Google their names, learn their stories, and draw inspiration from them. The box tells you to give up trying, the lady continued. The box tells you you can't get away from your past. The box tells you you'll never amount to anything. The box tells you to follow conventional wisdom so you won't be alone. The box tells you, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be, world without end. That success is for the privileged few. That there is no exit out of the box, but you know it's a lie, don't you? Look at me. She spoke animatedly like a televangelist trying to convert a soul. The box tells you that there's a height restriction to your ambition. The box tells you you don't have what it takes to build a skyscraper for your dreams. The box tells you it's all dependent on luck. It whispers to you to impregnate the girl in the next box across the room just to tie you down for life. The box tells you to try drugs in order to get a new eye. The box mocks your dreams, laughs at you, telling you that daydreaming is a useless activity. Oh, the box, the box, the box. The box is a place of hopelessness and despair, I tell you. And then she said this: if you want to think outside the box, you've got to get out of the box. You will die unless you make the effort to get out. She looked wistfully into the air and to the far distance as she said the next few words. Sometimes providence intervenes to get us out of the box, but even providence needs our cooperation and effort. Providence likes to see effort on our part. Without a desire for self-actualization, we cannot get out of the box. Desire is a starting point. Our eyes were teary again, but there was a glint in our eyes, a gotcha kind of expression, like Sarah Palin would say. I found the weakness of the box, you know. The box asked witnesses. The young man asked incredulously. Oh yes, the box has weaknesses. What are those weaknesses? Tell me. Oh, the box has no hands. The box cannot stop you. The box has never been able to stop a man with courage and determination in his heart. How about those 3 laws? Tell me. Oh yes, the 3 laws. I will tell you the 3 laws. She sighed deeply, took in a gulp of oxygen, and began. The first law is nothing is possible. The first law is nothing is possible. Nothing is possible? Yes, nothing is possible. Allow me to list all the laws first. Then I'll break them down for you. I had the same reaction when the old man told me about these laws. The first law, like I said, is nothing is possible. The second law is something is impossible. He was about to talk again, but she shushed him. And the third law is nothing brings nothing. Nothing is possible. Something is impossible. Nothing brings nothing. The young man was puzzled. Nothing is possible. It's about your self-concept. What you think of yourself. You must consider yourself something before you can come up with great ideas. You cannot come up with great ideas if you think nothing of yourself. If you manage to do, you will kill it with self-doubt. Self-esteem is crucial to developing wonderful ideas. If you think nothing of yourself, you become nothing. Therefore, nothing is possible. Okay. That's law number 1. How about number 2? Something is impossible. Something is impossible is about resourcefulness in our thinking. When you have an idea, you must take time to think through on how to bring it to pass. Don't rush out. Think of execution. If you don't, that valuable idea, that something in your head will become impossible. A rolling thought gathers no moss. When a verbal idea is not well thought through, something becomes impossible. How about the third law? Nothing brings nothing. Oh, that's pretty simple. Nothing brings nothing. It means you may think very highly of yourself, do all the thinking in the world, and imagine all the best solutions to human problems. But if you do nothing about your ideas, those ideas will bring you nothing. The young man began to chew on the laws. Nothing is possible. Something is impossible. Nothing brings nothing. Repeat after me. Nothing is possible. Something is impossible. And nothing brings nothing. Okay, I might as well have inserted into my story. Well, I have to go now, the young woman said. I am late for an appointment. As she walked off into the sunset, the young man found himself imploring her not to go, not to leave him in the box. He began to call after her, Mary, Mary, Mary. He felt a gentle hand on his shoulder. The hand shook him and then shook him vigorously. Who is Mary? His mother asked him. And with that, he woke up. He realized he had been dreaming. And then came the great realization. The box is his imagination. There is no box at all. It's all in his head. All his limitations were in his head. There is nothing stopping him in life except himself. He recited the laws of the box as he remembered them. Nothing is possible. If you think nothing of yourself, you cannot come up with great ideas and become nothing. Therefore, nothing is possible. Something is impossible. If you don't think through on how to execute your idea, the idea will fail. That something in your head will become impossible. Nothing brings nothing. If you don't move to execute ideas, you will get nothing in return. It's up to me now, the young man reasoned. All I have to begin to do is to begin to find solutions to fantasies. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the parable of the box. Thank you and God bless you.